It is such a beautiful fall day here in the Ozarks. Something I love about Missouri in general is the Ozarks, but the weather we get is really kind of my favorite weather. We have beautiful falls, we have intense winters, we have beautiful springs, and we have intense summers. It's just kind of, you get the best of everything, really. By the time winter comes, generally you're pretty sick of summer and vice versa. But it's a beautiful fall day and pretty cold today, but very, very encouraged to feel the cold. It's October, so we've been dealing with August and September and whatnot. But I'm down here to do some bow hunting. I'm going to hunt some deer and some turkey, going through the book of Matthew verse by verse. Just heard something running over there. But I'm going through the book of Matthew verse by verse, and I'm hunting and fishing through it. So right now you can just bow hunt deer and turkey. But it's great to bow hunt because in Missouri, because firearm season, and something is definitely moving around big over there. Firearm season is about 10 days, and bow season you can go from September to I think the beginning of February. So doing a lot of bow hunting. Check that series out if you want to join us through Matthew. I don't know why God had me doing hunting and fishing while I was going through it, but he did, and that's what I'm doing. But that's not what this video is about. That's what I'm doing down here. But I've been really overwhelmed with God lately, and let me tell you about that, because I want to really kind of address the question: how do you know if God is with you? It's something that I see a lot, I hear a lot, and I ask that myself. So I just want to kind of talk to that. And what I mean by being overwhelmed by God is about a week ago, my wife told me, she said, I was praying and God told me to tell you something. And that always gets my attention, especially coming from her, because I know it's genuine. And God knows that she is the person to tell me those things. So what she told me God said was that he wanted to spend the morning with me, the first thing in the morning with me, that I was talking about him a lot, but I wasn't talking to him very much lately. And when she said that, that was a very, very true statement. I've been putting out a lot of content, spiritual content over the last couple months, and I have prayed with God, but not as I should. And so I knew what she was saying was correct. I knew it came from God, and it was a practice I used to kind of have. It was something that like I remember reading in Job that he would get up every morning and kind of do some sort of something for his kids. I'd have to read it again, but it was essentially he'd dedicate something, so this moment, this first thing in the morning, to his children and God, and that meant something to me. So I started getting up every morning, and first thing I did was I was praying for my kids. At the time they were young. Some were in grade school, some were in middle school, some were in high school, one was in college. So I was really concerned about them and the world. But I moved away from that, I'm just being honest. I moved away from that. And so as I've been spending time with him, he's been showing me a lot. And I guess that's kind of the beginning of what I want to say here, and how you know if God's with you is if you are feeling a desire to talk with him, then he's with you. Now, let me start by saying there's nowhere he is not. You can go to the darkest depths of this earth. You can go into a cave and go 100 miles down, and he is there. You can climb to the highest mountain peak, and he is there. You could be in the darkest dungeon, and he is there. It doesn't, you can be in the middle of the ocean and he is there. Like, he is omnipotent. He is omnipresent. There is nowhere where the Spirit of God is not. So let's start with that of course he is with you. Like, you have to get that in your head. But if you are thinking about it, you know, and chances are if you clicked on this video, you're thinking about it. Like, is God there? Then what's happening with you is you are engaged in a path with God. If you're literally thinking, well, I wonder if God is with me, now you are engaged in a path with God. And there are all sorts of paths. You don't have to be on a path with God. That is why, you know, when people say, well, why is there so much evil in the world? And why is there so much terrible, you know, why do terrible things happen to good people? It's because we're free. We're free to make our own decisions. We're free to walk down whatever path we want. We're not slaves. We're not robots. We have that freedom. And because of that, a lot of people choose wickedness. But if you're wondering if God is with you, like if you just thought that and you're kind of wondering, does he care about me? Does he know me? Then you are engaged in a path with God, and that's the path that you really need to be on. I mean, think about it for just a moment. If you're on this moment in time where you're looking at the whole world, and there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of options on what you can do. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, what does God want me to do? Is he with me? Does he care about me? Does he love me? Then you are focused on, you're taking your eyes off of the world and you're putting them on the things of the kingdom of heaven. And that means that he is talking to you, that he's nudging you, that he's telling you, showing up in places. You know, I grew up without a father. And I had a stepfather who was wicked. I remember being 10 years old, sitting there counting the years. Like, how long till I can get the hell out of here? And what happened to me was I always kind of felt sorry for myself because, you know, I tell a joke I was raised by wolves because, you know, nobody really taught me anything. Like, I was the youngest of 5. Both my stepdad and my mom were hippie-like, and they just kind of just went on. By the time I was born, they were like, yeah, he's got it. So I really learned and did everything on my own. I was free to do whatever I wanted. Like, I remember being out on the streets at 3 in the morning in like 4th, 5th grade. Like, truth. Like, spent a lot of time out walking those streets. In grade school, middle school, high school. And learning things the hard way and really engaging in a lot of dangerous behavior, a lot of self-destructive behavior, a lot of reckless behavior. So many times I can count that I probably should have died, but somehow I didn't. And by the time I kind of made it to the point where I was committed to God, which, you know, is a whole other story. But until I got to there, when I look back, I realized he was always there. Like, he was always there. Like, he was the only one who gave me discipline, period. He was the only one that held me accountable. He was the only one that was there whenever I was alone. When I felt like I was alone, I look back and he was there. You know, he was the only one when I needed resources or financial, and I just didn't know what to do. And like the right amount would show up at the right time. And, you know, I just thought, I guess I never really knew what I thought, but I can count, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times that happened, where I just needed money or else. And it always showed up. Always showed up. Like, he always provided for me, always protected me, always disciplined me. And if you're sitting there wondering if he's doing the same for you, you just simply have to call him out on those things. You know, are you there, God? Ask him to show you. Here's what I know. He'll show you. He will show you. If you're looking for some sort of proof that he's there, just ask him for it. He'll show you. He'll show you in some way if you're like, because here's what I also know about him. He loves you like crazy. Like crazy. It's ridiculous how much he loves you. And this is what made him Lord in my life. Like, this was the piece that made me just go from believing in him to making him Lord, calling him Father, was the piece of just, because there was one day I was out jogging and I was down on the plaza in Kansas City, and I only had one child. I had my first daughter. And as I was jogging, I was praying. I don't even really know why. I wasn't necessarily a praying man at that point. I think God was just talking to me. And what he showed me in that moment was that he was willing to lay down the life of his only begotten son for me, and I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't love anybody that much. Nobody, like, there is nobody in this world that I would lay down the life of my child for. And it was so much love that I just simply didn't understand it. Still don't understand it. It's so much love. And here's what I know about our Father is he loves you just as much as he loves me. And I know he loves me a lot. It's ridiculous how much he loves me. That I know. And I also know he loves you just as much. There's nobody in this world that loves you as much as he loves you. You can even say, like, even your mother, or your father. It just, there's nobody. There is nobody who loves you as much as God. That's the thing, is when I think about how much I love my kids, I know God loves them more. I know he does. Because he loves in ways we don't even understand. And it's all for you. Like that's why you're here. So if you're wondering, well, is God with me? He was with you when you were in your mother's womb. Like, he knew the hairs on your head. He is with you. There is nowhere you can go that he is not. Nowhere. There is nowhere you can go. You can get in a rocket ship and go out into space, and he is there. There's nowhere. So of course he's with you. But why is he with you? Because he loves you more than anything in this universe. He loves you like crazy. Like crazy. It's insane how much he loves you. It's so much love that I think if we would just receive a fraction of that love in our heart, it would probably make us do cartwheels down a mountain. Like, we'd just be, while we laughed and yelled. It's so much love. It's ridiculous. We can't even fathom the love. That I know. So that's for you. Like, that's not just for me or that guy or that girl. That's for you too. And if you're wondering if he's with you, he's right there. Just call on him. He's right there. He's right there.